Well, good day and happy 4th of July. So in the studio and in the house, we have somebody that was reflecting on the colors of America, red, white, and blue.
That's right.
He's not a professional athlete, although I think he's probably inspired to be one, but that's a different story. But he is the owner of Grand Slam Pizza and a, what's the name of your barbershop?
Amazing Cuts.
Amazing Cuts. What amazing name. That's so good. So, Jimmy, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Okay. My name is Jimmy Dickens. I am one of the owners of Grand Slam Pizza, located right in the heart of Kennesaw off of Giles Road, and also one of the owners of Amazing Cuts Barbershop, which is also located 2 doors down from Grand Slam Pizza. Been in Kennesaw since 2005, and I love the city.
Well, I know when we met, I don't know, a few months back at the Kennesaw Business Association, and then I came down to Amazing Cuts and to see the new Grand Slam Pizza. Then let me just say, get out, because Giles Road and Cherokee, you want to get pizza? Come on. You need a good haircut? Come on down.
Yes.
Amazing. It was a fun place. I enjoyed meeting a lot of your people in Amazing Cuts when I came down there. So what spurred you? Like, let's go back a few years to where you're opening up your first business. Okay. So what was that like?
Like any entrepreneur knows that it takes faith. I probably had 7 barbershops. When I first moved to Georgia, I started in Marietta. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of faith because you're not getting a guaranteed check every week. So you have to walk by faith and not by sight. It takes a lot of belief in God, and that faith over a period of time, you'll see that, if you're walking in the right path, it'll be prosperous for you. But it takes a lot of faith. I will say, if any entrepreneur can witness to that it takes faith to walk out not knowing how much you're going to make from day to day or from week to week, but still have bills that come in month to month. So I say the biggest thing it took was faith.
Man, I love that. And, I think back to Crystal Duke. She had a comfortable career, speech pathologist, and her brother said, "Hey, I'm going to move to Georgia and I'm starting a weight loss business. He's a doctor. Would you come and join me?" And so she was kind of like on the side into health and fitness. So she left a comfortable paycheck for zero, like zero.
Right.
You wake up, zero.
Right.
And you have to create value.
Yes.
And so, yes, she talked about faith. It's like, hey, you know what? That's a good concept. But, when you get a comfortable paycheck, you're comfortable.
Right.
There's nothing comfortable about being in your own business. So let's go back to that first year. Mm-hmm. So how was your faith tested in that first year? You're generating that value and that paycheck.
Well, I learned a lot. I learned that everything starts and stops with you. The buck stops with you. Mm-hmm. If you don't, advertise, if you're not professional, if you're not there on time, you treat people different. If you go into a family-owned restaurant versus a restaurant that maybe somebody's just there for the check, the employees may be more concerned about getting off work or the things that they're dealing with in their lives. But most family-owned operated restaurants or businesses, they're concerned about the value of the customer, because it's all about the customer experience. Mm-hmm. So I learned early on that, it's not about my time clock. It's about making this one customer want to come back and have a great experience that they want to tell someone else. So I learned early on the customer experience is very important.
I couldn't say it any better. That's so good. So give us a little framing. Like, was your family in business? Was it something that you kind of like just passed from another generation? What kind of spurred you? Because when you're making a comfortable paycheck, there's nothing like comfortable about saying ain't going to be there tomorrow.
Right.
I'm going to make my own paycheck.
Right.
Did you grow up like with a family that kind of nurtured entrepreneurship?
Well, we kind of grew up poor,
Mm-hmm.
and so not having a lot gives your mind is set to want a lot more for yourself, want a lot for your kids,
Mm-hmm.
Want to get out of the condition that you're in to a better condition.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out early on selling newspapers. I had a newspaper route, and then went on to selling cookies and ice cream. I was the cookie man, and my mom and I, we sold frozen cups with my sister. So it was a frozen cup. Back in those days, you could have like our neighborhood had like we call it the frozen cup lady or the candy lady, or the house that sold the candy. Or you can't really do it that much these days because times have changed, people have changed.
Right.
But everybody knew a house when I was growing up that you can go there. They didn't have a business license, you know. They didn't. It wasn't regulated by the government or anything, but everybody knew that was a first sign of entrepreneurship, where you can have goods and services or products for sale, and long as it's demand for them, and you serving a good product, that you could make some money off of it, even when there's very little money. So that was my first sign, seeing how much extra money we was making just off of frozen cups and cookies and ice cream. So and selling newspapers. So that was the beginning of Jimmy Dickens' career, I guess.
Well, I don't know who I heard it from. They say if you can find out who was in the newspaper business, meaning they sold newspapers, they delivered them, whatever it was, because you're getting up early.
Right.
Newspaper doesn't come at 2:00 in the afternoon.
No.
So you're up there when the sun's not up, and
Right.
you're in there just rolling them, putting all together. Now there's not as many newspapers as there are today, but it still creates a mindset that they said, you find me a person that learned how to run a newspaper route, and I'll tell you a successful business person.
Yes, sir.
And and that whenever I find that out, it's true.
Yes, sir.
Because that mindset is easy to sleep in, it's comfortable.
Right.
But it ain't easy going out there when it's raining, snowing, whatever it is. And it's like, you got to get the newspaper delivered that day, no matter what.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, so with that in mind, okay, so that first year.
Yes, sir.
Like, tell our viewers, like, how was that faith tested? Because yes, you got to have that faith, but if you don't dial it up with you adding value and really getting out there, getting it done, that business is not going to be there, because people vote with their money, and they vote with their currency. And so what were there some rough times, like just trying to get it? What can you share with our viewers?
If I was to fast forward through the years, and I'll go into when I first moved to Georgia, which was in 2000, I opened up a shop, Amazing Cuts in Marietta. A year later, 9/11 happened. So in Lockheed, I had a lot of clients from Lockheed, and then there was a place to do a back adjustment, a chiropractic school, who lost their accreditation. So my clientele slowed down a lot. It was dramatically different, almost like the pandemic. After the pandemic a few years ago, barbershops changed because it used to be like the cornerstone of the community where people would gather. It was a gathering spot. People would just hang out, even if they weren't getting a haircut. They want to hear the latest gossip.
Yeah.
What's going on. They're hanging around the barbershop. The pandemic changed the atmosphere for a while. It's picking up now, but it still not as it was. But you have to go with the times. You have to learn how to adjust according to what's going on in the world. And I guess learning how to adjust to the times. I remember when we didn't take credit card. payments, or so you have to judge. If you don't take credit card payments in your business now, you might, because people don't carry cash like they used to.
Yeah.
So you really have to adjust with the times to be successful, and watch out for trends. So a lot of trends that are being set. So you have to watch out for the latest trends, stay current, and always do your best, provide the best service, even when times are slow. You still have to be. It's nothing worse to me than to go to a gas station and not knowing if it's going to be open. Your gas meter almost on E, but this gas station sometimes closed, sometimes open. I would go a different way to a gas station like I know it's going to be open. So in business, even during the slow times, you still have to make yourself available and be open on those slow times, because you might get 1 or 2 customers, but that 1 or 2 customers at least know you're there.
Yes.
So it's nothing worse than to not be present at a place that's supposed to be available.
Yeah, when I was over at the Mexican restaurant right in the corner there, right next to you.
Yes, sir.
I was with Christina Bowers, and so Christina is married to Tommy Stoner, who's a Special Forces.
Yes, sir.
And he talked about at a Rotary Club that that the mindset is whatever needs to be done, you have to get it done. And it's just like, there's no playbook in the Special Forces. It's just like, you just have to figure it out.
Yes, sir.
So in business, there's no playbook. It's like figuring it out, building those relationships, taking care of people. And you don't know, like, okay, you're opening up Grand Slam Pizza. Like, you do this, this, and this is going to happen. Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not.
It's like, hey, this is not haircuts. This is not a barbershop. This is food.
Yes, sir.
So it's a new venture. What got into you to kind of step outside the barbershop mindset of a business and into the service mindset of food?
That will definitely have to be Cassandra.
Okay.
The young lady that I'm dating, Cassandra, I've always wanted to open up a pizzeria. So the Grand Slam had been closed for a year. So we have been debating back and forth whether or not this is the right time. Are we going to go back into another pandemic? Is the economy stable enough to start a new business? Because you just don't know the unknown. So we prayed about it, and God made a way that we was able to venture out to this business, and it has been going great so far. It really has.
Well, I think of the restaurant business, because I was on the distributor side years ago for a dozen years, that there's nothing more difficult than the restaurant business, because they vote with the food is so critical to it, but it's not always the most important, because they want that experience.
Yes,
they want to feel special, because there's a lot of pizza places to buy, but they come in and they know Jimmy and Cassandra, and they know it's a family business, and they know, they're expecting it to be good, but what they're not expecting is that service, that connection, that way, what you say about family business. You're not there for a paycheck. You're there to really serve the community.
Yes, sir.
And the community is out there. They're hungry.
Yeah, right.
But there's a lot of options right next to you is the Mexican restaurant. So, but you look at variety. People want variety.
Right.
So when you decided to do it, okay, so you're moving forward, what obstacles in putting it together can you share with our viewers that you had to overcome, that you want them to maybe learn from?
One of the biggest obstacles that we had to overcome was timing. If you don't plan ahead of time, Cassandra's very good about being organized and plan and having steps. If you just think that you're gonna just open a business and hit the open sign, and people are gonna flood in there, it's not gonna happen that way.
No, I know.
You have to have a strategic plan. Everything from advertising to a good product, to a product that someone wants to enjoy, and then when they come, it's not just the food, like you said. It's the way you answer the phone. It's when while they waiting in there, are they comfortable? Did you make them feel inviting? So that's things that happen before they even taste the pizza or before they even taste the food. I've gone to restaurants where, I had a bad waiter and I haven't even had the meal come out yet, and I'm already having a bad idea about the whole restaurant as a whole, simply because of a bad waiter or waitress. So I guess one of the biggest things we had to overcome was to make sure that we plan well. So Cassandra has really helped me out with um, planning, because not planning is planning to fail.
Yes, totally. What I love that you said that to our viewers. So I'm a big proponent of personal development, books, tapes, courses, getting better at the skills. Is there some things you could share with our viewers, like how does Jimmy get better each day? Do you have favorite books, favorite things that you have enjoyed growing and learning from that you could share with our viewers?
So many books, but life experience, and I build good people around me, good team around me that pushes me to become better. Good people that I trust their advice. I know it's not out of jealousy or any hatred, and I have a great team that motivates me and pushes me to become better every day, and my faith in God. I have an ear for His word, and so I kind of, those two together will make anyone better. Great team, and you having a good relationship with God would I'm not perfect, but it will definitely make you a better person, and that has made me a better person. People like Marlon Longacre, a good friend of mine. I call him all the time. I call him for advice. Carol Thompson, you were talking about newspapers earlier. Carol Thompson is. If I get in some trouble, I call Carol or June Wick. I call someone that can give me some real motherly advice, who I know that gonna give me some advice that is sound and that I can use. Marlon is a good role model. Marlon Longacre, he's a good role model. If I had to draw up a perfect example of a father or a leader in the community, I would definitely look at Marlon Longacre, who has been serving the community for a long time now.
Yeah, totally. And I know what you're saying, because those mentors out there make a difference, because they've proven they've done what they say they're doing. It's not like they say, hey, do this, and they've never done it. They've done it.
Right.
He served the communities. He's been very, if you know Kennesaw Business Association, you know him.
Yeah.
Because he's out there serving. He just puts himself out there. And he wants businesses to grow. The big shanty. I mean, he's been so important in developing and growing that kind of concept in the community, that it really helps businesses to really know you can't be the best kept secret out there and expect to be successful.
Right.
You have to be out there talking about your business. You have to be out there promoting. You have to be out there with the relationships. I want to go back to one. So having two businesses in a shopping center is pretty remarkable.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I don't know too many people that do.Maybe they do. I don't know. So that's kind of a first.
Right.
I want to go back, because I know from talking to people, you were the first Black person to be on the Kennesaw City Council.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to 2015, and you're deciding, I want to run. What on earth were you thinking?
No, I know.
I mean, because being the first is a whole different than being the second.
Right,
I can tell you it's night and day.
Right.
So you're thinking about running.
Yes.
Okay. Never has there been a Black representative in Kennesaw, and you're thinking about running. So talk to my audience about what was going through your mind.
Okay. First of all, obstacles. Okay. There's so many obstacles I had to
Yeah.
overcome.
Yeah.
All right. So I had a person that was my campaign manager, and they had to move away as soon as I signed up.
What? You're kidding.
They had to move
Yeah.
away. They moved to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't have a campaign manager, and I had never been in politics before, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect.
Right.
So I was cutting hair in the barbershop, and I looked across the street. At that time, there was a CVS across the
Yeah.
street.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, remember the CVS?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, and someone had knocked down all of my opponents' signs, yard signs, and only had my yard signs um, up. So I was like, okay. I was cutting someone's hair. I said, I don't want people to, I was thinking to myself, I don't want people to drive by and thinking that I did it.
Yeah.
So let me, I asked the gentleman in my chair, do you mind if you just let me run across the street real quick
Yeah.
and put the yard signs back up?
Right.
So he said, sure, go ahead and put the yard signs back up. So I ran across the street and I was putting up my opponent's yard signs. I'm back in the CVS, in the front of the CVS.
Yeah.
And a lady came by walking her dog. And so she said, her first thing was, she said, that's a shame that someone knocked down all those signs. And then I said, yes, ma'am. And then she asked me what my name was. And I told her I was Jimmy. And she was like, wait a minute, you're Jimmy Dickens? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, are you putting up their signs? I said, yes, ma'am. So she said, okay, give me your number. I want to call you later. And I said, okay. Now I had no idea this lady was going to be walking her dog during this time.
Right.
So I called, she called me later, and she ended up being, she worked on a higher level, presidential kind of level for social media. And she ended up doing all of my social media for me.
Whoa.
She without her, I'm not going to say her name because I don't know she want me to tell her, but without her, I couldn't have done most of the things that I did. She lives right here in Kennesaw.
Yeah.
And what she was impressed was she saw my character.
Yes.
And I believe that it was nothing but an intervention from God, because
if
I would have waited to the end of that haircut, she would have just walked on by thinking, man, Jimmy Dickens must be a crazy guy to knock down all these signs. Or exactly. So she wouldn't have had the same impression that she did of me when she saw me actually doing something that anyone that has good character would have done, and that was give everybody a chance to promote their name if they're running in office, and give everyone a fair chance. It's not about being ugly or being throwing mud. It's giving everyone a fair chance. So that one obstacle of not having a campaign manager, it just erased all of that, because she got all my passwords to my Instagram, to my Facebook, to my all my social media, and she just handled it. So matter of fact, her sister was on one of the gentlemen that was running for president, West. Mr. West, she was the campaign manager for Mr. West, that was running for president at the same time. So Mr. West, he went on my Twitter and asked people to vote for me because of her. So it was just my views used to be, before I met this young lady, my views, I would probably get 50 to 100. But after she took over my social media, it was 800, thousands of views, only because she did such an outstanding job, and her contact list was way bigger than mine. So sometimes you just have to believe God, and God will just send an angel if you just doing the right thing. So that was a humongous obstacle that I overcame because of her.
I think when you're describing this story, I heard a person say, common sense is not always common practice. And so you could have just waited,
right,
like you just said,
right,
that opportunity is gone.
Right.
You knew that it was the right thing to do, but you could say, I'll get to it after I finish work.
Right.
Done, finished.
Right.
But that act of courage that you wanted everybody to have a fair voice. Look at the door that was opened up. For our viewers, that's mind-boggling. That's why now I know why you were the first Black person to be on Kennesaw's city council, because one, your heart, one, you're taking action, one, you're doing the right thing. And, when you look at that, you get rewarded. It is kind of God shining down saying, you know what? That's an act of kindness that I want to amplify.
Right.
Did you know that would do anything? No, of course not.
No.
You were just like,
right.
I mean, what if the guy in the chair would have said, no, I want you to cut my hair?
I would have just finished cutting his hair.
Yeah.
Or if I would have knew, I would have been sitting there all morning. She going around here with that dog. I can put these signs up.
Yes.
But yes, it worked out so amazingly.
Yeah.
And she told me that's the kind of people that she wants representing her city.
Yes.
Someone that she can see the work. She knows their heart just from watching their actions. And that meant a lot to me. It showed me a lot too.
Yes.
It was a blessing.
Yeah, because and overcoming, like, you decide to run, which is courageous in itself. Your campaign manager moves away. Right. It's like, what is going on here? Right, okay. Right. And so if you're in your prayer time and you're going, God, what are you doing? Like, I need a campaign manager.
Right.
I mean, you don't win this thing by just my name.
Right.
I got to be making sure people know me. Right. And God's going, I got a plan for you.
Right.
And just, he's laughing up there because he's going like, oh, Jimmy's sweating a little bit. I wonder where his faith is.
Right.
And so you're just like, well, okay, I'm going to put it in your hands because my plan is not working out right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But your heart is there, and you do that one act of kindness. And I'll go back to what you said way back when somebody's showing up for a paycheck. I've always believed that when you look at one person, the average person knows 250 people. Mm. So you treat one person kindly, you're planting a seed. Right. That just in a general sense is 250 people. I was in I won't mention their names because I really like them. But this person, there's a guy who was technology challenged.
Okay.
Wanting to print out one piece of paper at this place. And so she was very rushed. You could tell she was going to do that. She was talking so fast, I couldn't keep up with her.
Right.
So I just went over to him. I said, hey, do you need some help? And then I called her over again to get some clarification. But here's a person that's getting a paycheck. That if she would have taken the time, maybe 5 minutes, she basically said, oh, do this. Here's a card. Go do this.
Right.
I mean, a guy that's not technology savvy can't just do this. Take him over there.
Right.
Get it done.
Right.
Even the guy said to me, which I thought was kind of funny, I said, okay, now it's time to put your credit card in there. He goes, oh, I got to pay for this? And I said, well, they do have to buy these machines. Right. But here's a guy that's just totally naive to think, I said, you don't have a credit card? He goes, no, I don't. I said, okay. So I whipped out mine and did it. And then it comes through and it's 80 cents. And I said, dang, that's an expensive copy, but that's business.
Yes, sir.
But what my point was, she could have taken the time, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, to take care of that one person. Now that one person, he was frustrated it can be. He just needed one copy. Now we got the copy done, but it was an act of Congress. And if you don't take the time like you did, yes, you could have just sat in your chair and going, I'll get to that sometime. Right. But you didn't.
Right.
You did. And look at what happened by one act of kindness. That is unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
That, I was talking to Kimberly yesterday, and I said, "Man, I'm excited about hearing Jimmy's story to be the first."
Yes, sir.
I mean, we talked about my golfer Ralph Stokes. He was the first, and he's just crushing it and doing. He's quite a bit older than us, but not me, but you.
Yes, sir.
But
I'm old too.
oh, okay. Well, you know, I don't know. I was told in this place. I asked a young guy who worked here. I asked his age when we were having some problems. I mean, all the ladies tore me a new one because they said, "What are you doing asking him his age?" I said, "Hey, look, I grew up with girls. I have sisters and I have daughters. I have granddaughters. I know not to ask a girl
Right.
age,
But a
but
guy,
guys,
right. I'm 53. I'm 53. I'm 53.
Okay. Well, he was 25.
Okay.
And it's like, why are you doing asking him? I said, well, I mean, I'm just asking his age.
Right.
And he's working in a senior facility at 25. I thought that was relevant to know that you better have an accelerated just mindset because you can't, wisdom comes with age. And so, but my point is about the age thing is guys, I mean, we're guys. We don't give a rip about age,
Right.
you know, but girls, I do
Ooh,
not ask. Oh, yeah. I know that is emotional suicide when you ask anybody that's a girl what their age is. I don't know where we got off the point there, but oh, Ralph Stokes. He was the first black player at Alabama to graduate and to go on to a stellar career. He runs diversity for the Georgia Golf Association. He's at Atlanta Country Club. He's done first. His book, incredible.
Yes.
He's like the right-hand guy for Arthur Blank at PGA Superstore. So, but what I've said when I read his book, I couldn't put it down because there's something about the first. You know, nobody can ever take that away from you. You will always own that. And you owned it from one kind gesture. Blows my mind that story is that story. So let's get back to Grand Slam Pizza. Okay. So you're going to have a grand opening ribbon cutting. When is that going to be?
We have one with the city on Friday, but the big one will be Sunday. The city doesn't do it on the weekend.
Okay.
So we're going to have a big one on Sunday at 3 p.m., 7 and 3 p.m. This Sunday coming up at 3 p.m.
I want to encourage our viewers. Okay. It's not on Facebook, but we'll get it out on Facebook real quick.
Okay.
But it's on Twitter. Share it with your friends. You know, come on out and support a guy that this is his second business in one shopping center. You think of people employing people, adding value to our community, getting out there and getting it done. Because, you know, when you think about you running a successful barbershop, you sit back and you go, hey, look, I'm just going to play pool and enjoy, which you do. I know, because I came in that day. But what I'm saying is to be challenged to now get into food service.
Yes, sir.
So I have to commend Cassandra for stirring whatever she stirred in yourself to want to do something as demanding as, you know, the restaurant business.
Yes,
It's as tough as can be. Restaurants are going out of business like left and right. But, you know, we'll go back to the story of the delivering newspapers. I think at that point, you set in motion a mindset.
Yes, sir.
And I love the fact I want to challenge our viewers, get out, patronize, come out, get some pizza.
Please.
Get some pizza, buy some pizza for your friends because there's nothing wrong with national chains. They have a purpose out there. But when you got a local person who was the first in Kennesaw, who has two businesses in one shopping center. And the shopping center, you can go right by Giles Road and Cherokee Road. And if you're not looking, you might miss it.
Right.
But you look in that corner and you see Grand Slam and then you see Amazing Cuts. Know that one guy owns both of them. One guy's driving the local economy, employing people, adding a service.
Yes, sir.
So support these people that are pouring into our community, pouring into Kennesaw, making it happen. We want those businesses to grow, to prosper, because in a couple of years, we're going to see another business. And it's probably going to be another business, Jimmy.
I might start a podcast.
Yes.
Jimmy and Pete.
Oh, man. I tell you, hey, I'm all for that for sure, because these stories that you're sharing, oh my golly, that's what it's all about. Is we don't want a business to be a well-kept secret.
Yes, sir.
And we know that we can get that word out in Kennesaw.
Yes, sir.
So I love it. I love it. Thank you for being the first Black to crack that barrier.
Yes, sir.
And to get out there inspiring others to be aggressive. Go out there. Like, it's already been done.
Yes, sir.
So maybe you need to be the first in something else, but be the first.
Yes, sir.
You know, that thing about when you said you have faith, I mean, that's essential to everything.
Yes, sir.
And I think, but you dialed it up too. You did it. You like, hey, you can have faith in like that little bit of doubt. Well, you know, I don't know if I'd be the.
Right.
What if I lose?
Right.
What if I lose? They're going to go, oh, you lost. You know,
right.
Friends are going, see, Jimmy,
right.
I told you shouldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, let that politics thing
right.
go to somebody else. No, but you did it.
Yes, sir.
You did it. And you didn't know at that one time, but putting those signs up around your sign would be the gesture that would open the door for a bigger social media campaign.
Right.
That's so good. So I want you to tell our viewers, how can they get a hold
of you? You can call me on my phone or text me. My number is 984-800-1582. Or you can reach me on Facebook under Jimmy Dickens. Or you can reach me on Instagram under I am Jimmy Dickens.
Awesome. That is so good. So again, share this with people you know in the community. We want to support Jimmy. We want to support Cassandra. We want to really get behind another business that's out there, because if you're not out there supporting him, then he can't grow. And it takes, come out there for the first time, see what it's like. Taste it.
Yes.
Meet him.
Yes.
Say hello.
Yes.
Say, hey, look, I heard you on podcast. That crazy guy podcast, Pete. Yeah, you were on that on 4th of July. Man, come on. Come out Sunday. Get out there Sunday. Come on. What are you doing at 3:00 on a Sunday anyway? Come out there and support it. So thank you so much. Before we go, what would be the one thing that you want our viewers to know from our time on the podcast?
I want you to know that it takes faith. And if you are interested in starting your own business or being an entrepreneur, don't just look at your current situation. Don't look at how much money you have right now. There are resources out there. Plan ahead, take your time. But also sometimes you have to close your eyes and just believe God and watch it work. And for the pizza place, for Grand Slam, I want you to know that we make our dough fresh every day. It's not like pizza that's coming in on the truck. We make it fresh. We make our sauce fresh every day. So everything that you eat will be freshly made every day. The dough and the sauce is made fresh.
And I'm already hungry right now. I wish this was Sunday, because I could be down there eating good pizza, because pizza is Americans' food.
Yes,
my gosh. Has all the what do you call those food groups? It has them all.
Yes, sir. Yeah, everything.
Good. Come on out and share this with people you know. And Jimmy, thank you so much. July 4th, you could be kicking back doing nothing, but you came on our podcast. And I want to thank you for being a guest on our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh man, I'd love to have you back.
All right.
Are you kidding? Let's rock this thing. Let's make sure that everybody knows about your journey, because you're an inspiration to do what you've done and to really inspire others to be out there doing it. Because
one last thing.
Okay.
And on the KBA, I'm on the membership committee.
Okay.
And they asked me to open the door, be the one to greet.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't, opening doors.
Yeah.
At KBA, I wouldn't have met Pete. Pete was like,
Yeah.
hey, I want you to be on my podcast. See, it's just a little thing. So
I know.
you never know just the little things that you do, how
Yeah.
it may change your life forever. If I didn't open that door for Pete that day, I might not be here. So might be just opening the door for your neighbor can change your life.
I love it. I love it. And thank you for saying that, because I'm a greeter at my church, and I've been doing greeting for 25 years.
Right.
And I had one person, this was 25 years ago, say that very thing, that he had not been to a church in a number of years. And he came and I gave him a friendly hello and just greeted him in. And now he's, of course, 25 years later, he's an elder in the church.
Right.
And he said that. And I'm saying, just as something as simple as greeting people.
Yes.
Greeting people with a smile,
Right.
saying hello, making them feel welcome. So I'm a real big proponent of greeters.
Yes, sir.
I just, because it's a geeky thing, whatever. So when you were there opening up the door, going, I was like, dang, I like this.
Right.
Yeah. And I've never said that to anybody walking in, but you had kind of that glow.
Yes, sir.
As a greeter, that you just know that something is special behind this greet. It's not just hello.
Right.
It's whatever, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But thank you so much. I appreciate those kind words too.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you again for listening. And we appreciate you sharing this with people you know in the community.
Bye-bye.
Happy 4th of July.